My name is Alora Bennett, and I turned 34 on Christmas Eve. That was the night my family decided I didn't belong at their table. For weeks, I had prepared everything. I decorated every corner of my home with lights and warmth, hoping this year would finally feel different, hoping love would walk through my front door instead of disappointment. By afternoon, the table was set. 8 plates gleamed under candlelight, waiting for the people I had spent my whole life trying to impress. But as the evening wore on, my phone buzzed with one excuse after another. My brother canceled first. My sister followed. Then came the final blow. A social media post showed them all gathered at another house, laughing and celebrating without me. They hadn't forgotten. They had simply chosen someone else. I sat alone in my silent, decorated home, staring at food no one would eat and gifts no one would open. The loneliness felt heavier than the snow outside. For years, my grandfather sat with me as I struggled to absorb the truth. He explained that my mother, Evelyn Bennett, had died in an accident when I was very young. After her death, the family made a choice. They would raise me, but they would never tell me who I really was. Grief had consumed the household. Some thought hiding the truth would make life easier. Others simply didn't want the responsibility of acknowledging me as a rightful family member. Over time, the lie became tradition. Tradition became silence. As he spoke, memories from childhood suddenly made sense. The forgotten birthdays, the secondhand clothes, the celebrations I watched from the sidelines, the constant reminders to be grateful for any scrap of affection. None of it had been an accident. Then my grandfather revealed something even more troubling. Months earlier, after a serious fall, he had handed control of his finances to my aunt. He had trusted her completely, until he started noticing missing funds and unexplained withdrawals. As a financial analyst, I understood numbers better than emotions. Numbers didn't manipulate or play favorites. They simply recorded the truth. When my grandfather asked me to review his accounts, I agreed without hesitation. Over the next several days, I uncovered a disturbing pattern. Large sums had been moved from his accounts into those of several relatives, disguised as loans that were never repaid. Funds intended for his medical care had nearly vanished. Property documents were being prepared behind his back. There were even plans to sell the family home without fully explaining the consequences to him. It wasn't care. It was exploitation. Among the records, I found another heartbreaking discovery. Holding that evidence felt like losing my mother all over again. The woman I never got to know had spent her final years trying to protect me, while the people entrusted with her memory had spent decades erasing both her sacrifice and her existence. Instead of confronting anyone emotionally, I contacted an attorney who specialized in elder financial protection. Together, we organized every document, every transfer, and every suspicious transaction into a detailed record. Predictably, my family became hostile once questions were asked. Phone calls came filled with accusations. Relatives said I was causing drama and trying to destroy the family. But for the first time in my life, I refused to apologize for telling the truth. The legal process moved slowly, but evidence speaks louder than opinions. Emergency petitions were filed. Financial reviews were requested. Temporary protections were placed on key assets. Soon, the people who thought no one was watching discovered that someone finally was. Weeks later, my grandfather's birthday gathering brought the whole family together. They expected another carefully staged event where appearances mattered more than honesty. Instead, they found me standing beside my grandfather with years of hidden truth ready to be revealed. Before a room of relatives, neighbors, and longtime family friends, I calmly explained who I really was. I presented the birth record. The next Christmas, I set my table once more. This time, Every chair was filled by friends, neighbors, and the grandfather who had finally given me the truth. That night, I learned that real family isn't built on obligation, blood, or inheritance. It is built on love, honesty, and the people who stay when they have every reason to leave.